I am the Corn Stalker, the harvester of souls and sorrows. It is my time to come alive for Jaden's Videos Halloween 2016!
Hello World Farmy, this is Jade from Jade's Videos, back with another Tombstone review. And this Tombstone review is on the Spirit Halloween 2016 life-size talking skeleton. This guy is also known as Bony Tony. I got this at the 50% off sale of Spirit Halloween 2016. He was $50 because he is originally $100. I already set this guy up, of course, but here's his box. You can see Spirit, life-size talking skeleton. There's a picture of him, very nice. It makes I know it makes the lights on his spine look a lot better in the picture than in real life, but of course with all props on their boxes they look much better in the pictures than in real life. He's 5 feet tall, eyes and body light up, speaks 3 spooky phrases, and then it says the phrases right there. Sound and motion activated, and he requires 4 AA batteries, not included. His mic is included, and his mouth movement syncs to microphone as you speak. And his phrases are, "How about some candy? More please, and where is my mummy?" Life-size talking skeleton. Here's the back. It pretty much says the same things. He's sound and motion activated. Of course, a safety warning, and he requires 4 AA batteries, not included. There's a picture of him right there, the Jemmy picture that Jemmy went with on their website, I think. So there it is, and as you can see on the back, at the bottom of the package, it says $99.99, which I think is definitely not would not have been a reasonable price for this guy, and I'll show you guys in a little bit when I get into the actual prop why. And you'll see why I don't think it would have been a reasonable price, and the reason $50 is a much better deal for this guy. So here's the prop itself. The quality is really not that great. As you can see, his bones are very flimsy, and stuff like that, which is really not that great. Another bad thing about the quality is something else to demonstrate how bad it is. The hand broke off right when I took him out of the package, which is another bad thing about the quality. It can easily be hot glued back on there, but of course, I'm just saying that the quality is not that great on this guy. As you can see, he's pretty flimsy too, like all the different bones. This up here is actually better quality than they actually make it look on the package. When I saw the picture of this guy for the first time, I thought this was going to be cardboard because of how flimsy it looks, but it's actually plastic, which is better than cardboard. It's still pretty flimsy and can break easily, but at least it's better than cardboard. His quality is definitely not that of like a pose and stay skeleton or anything like that. But he's still, since he's animated, that's the reason his price is $100. Even though his quality is not that good. But, like I just said, he's animated. But I still think $100 is still too much for him, and that he should really only be around $50, which is what I paid for him. He's a very small prop, too. It says 5 feet tall, and he is about 5 feet tall, but I know that he's a little bit smaller than me. So he's not very tall. As you can see, compared to Smoldering Zombie over there, he's not too tall of a prop, which is another kind of complaint about him. Then again, if he was bigger, he probably would cost a little bit more money. And it's not really too bad of a height for this guy. But I wish they could have made him a little bit bigger. But I guess it doesn't really matter. So here he is. The detail's okay. It's not that great. It looks very cheesy looking. Just a normal plastic looking skeleton. There's his head, which is of course where the best detail probably is. You can see in his eyes and his nose. There's his mouth. It doesn't open very wide, but that's fine. His teeth, the detail on his teeth are really not that great at all. There's his sensor right up there. His eyes, I really like the look of his eyes. They do look really cool. He's got more of a cartoonish look than a scary look. But this isn't really a scary prop, but that's fine because you can make him scary since he comes with a microphone. You can make him say scary things if you want to, and you can change up his look a little bit if you want. But he's not really intended to be a too scary of a prop, but he's still pretty cool. Back here is his module, which I'll try to get to. Here's the battery compartment, with which the screw is really hard to get to, and that's lost anyways, but there's the battery compartment. The speaker is on the top of his head there, I think. Actually, is that his speaker? I didn't know that was a speaker. That explains why he's so loud, because he is a very loud prop. Very, very loud. Back here is his switch, which he has off, sensor, and mic. Here's the thing that you connect to the back of his head for the microphone. This right here, this wire, you have to connect down to his spine for the lights on his spine to light up. The lights on his spine make him less realistic, of course, so you can easily just unplug that and then the lights on his spine won't light up. But even though it looks less realistic, I think it looks cooler with that. It just, something about it, it just looks really cool. And I like it like that. But if you want a more realistic look, you can always unplug that. The detail's not very good on this guy, like I said, and the quality's not that great either. And this guy is kind of a pose and stay skeleton, so that also kind of substitutes for why he's so much money, because he's also a pose and stay skeleton in a way, because as you can see, these joints here, they stay in place, they lock into place, which is good. Of course, the hands don't really lock into place very well, but that's with pose and stay skeletons too. His head is not posable, of course, because he's not meant to be a pose and stay skeleton, but he can be if you want to use him as that. Of course, here's his pole. I really wish they would have covered this up a little bit better, but I understand since he's a skeleton, it's kind of hard to, because he's not a skeleton wearing any clothes or anything like that, so it'd be kind of hard to cover up that pole. Move wolf, baby. He's got a pretty big base. I've got most of the base under hay bale popper, though, so he can fit in this little walkway that I have here. But his base is pretty big. Here's his feet, which are posable up and down. So pretty generic looking skeleton in particular. So even if you don't want to have him animated, since he is kind of cheesy, like his phrases, I mean, like when he has the mic attached, it's really cool, but his phrases themselves are kind of cheesy. But if you don't want to take the time to do the activate, and don't mind that, I'm still setting up my room again. If you don't want to like use the mic, like you don't want to sit down and on like Halloween and you want to like actually scare people instead of talking into a mic, but you also don't like his phrases, he can be used as just a static skeleton prop if you want to. One thing I really like about this is how they try to hide the lights in here on his spine. Now these bulbs for the lights are actually really, really small, but the hot glue is so, it sticks out so much that it's pretty noticeable. From afar, like I was saying, I like how it's kind of covered up, but when you get close, you can see the hot glue in there, which is pretty noticeable. So, first I'm probably going to do his sensor mode. Yeah, he's on sensor right now. So, his phrases, you can hardly understand what he is saying, which is one thing that I definitely have to take off a jack-o'-lantern for, because you can hardly understand what he's even saying. I understand the main thing that they wanted to focus on with this prop was the option for the microphone, but still, they could have made the sound quality a little better even when you're not using the microphone. So. So as you can see, he's pretty hard to hear and understand what he's saying. He's very loud though, but he's very hard to understand what he's saying. But like I said, the mic is the main thing that they wanted to focus on with this prop, of course. And here's the mic itself. Pretty generic mic here. It's got an on-off switch on the mic itself. So I'm going to switch it on. So this is how the mic works, and it is a pretty long cord, but I have it wrapped around his neck so it doesn't fall to the ground. But it's really cool, and his mouth is synced up pretty well with the mic, which is the main reason I got this prop. I'll probably be getting this prop for the mic because it is the coolest and the main feature of the prop. With his actual phrases, they really aren't that great, and the mic itself is the main feature, because as you can see, even his spine lights up in sync to the microphone, and his mouth moves pretty well with the mic. If you want it to move better, you might want to talk slower, like this. Then again, that will take a while to do. Sometimes the mic, if you use it at like long periods of time, it starts getting less synced up for some reason. But overall it's pretty cool, and how the mouth syncs up pretty well with the microphone, and it does make it look like he's talking. Another cool thing is how his whole body kind of shakes. That's obviously from just him opening and closing his mouth, and just how flimsy he is. It makes his whole body move a little bit. But it's just cool because it makes him seem more lifelike. Even though that wasn't really intentional, it just makes him seem a little bit more lifelike. It was probably intentional with his head, though, because that's probably why it's on this flimsy plastic right here, so his head can bob a little bit to make him seem a little bit like a bobblehead prop. His mouth doesn't open too wide, but that's fine because it makes it a little more realistic. So there's a few things I'm probably going to take off for this prop, and that is, of course, the quality, which I'll take off a jack-o'-lantern for that because the quality really is not that great. So now he's at 9 out of 10. The sound quality I'm also going to take one off for. And the price I'm going to take it off for. $50 was a good price to pay for this guy, which is the price I got him for. Which is a reasonable price for this guy. Much more reasonable than $100, because that's a little too expensive for this guy, since his quality and his sound quality is not that great. I'm trying to think of any other complaints with him. There's not very many other complaints I have. Maybe they could have made him look a little more realistic and put a little bit more detail too. So he's at 6 out of 10 jack-o'-lanterns right now. But he's still a very cool prop, and I'm happy to have him because he should make a pretty cool addition to my haunt. So Bony Tony is a very cool prop, or as Spirit calls him, life-size talking skeleton, but his actually official name by Jemmy is Bony Tony with Mike. Bony Tony's a pretty cool prop, and I do recommend him. Just please remember the different things like the poor quality and the poor sound quality when you are buying this guy. Please keep those in mind. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Keep howling at the moon, my werewolves. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.
Hey, come back. You don't play fair and you're making me angry. But maybe if you subscribe to Jaden's videos and join the werewolf army, I'll let you live another day. But it's not guaranteed.